India's new COVID deaths have hit an overwhelming peak of 3,293 people losing their lives in the last 24 hours. New cases have risen by over 3.6 lakh, a global high, pushing the total cases to over 1.79 crore. The crisis has left India grappling for oxygen and medicines. This is the 7th straight day that over 3 lakh cases have been recorded in the country, the second worst hit country after the United States. The fresh deaths are marking the deadliest day of the pandemic in the country, taking the total fatalities since the start of this pandemic past the 2 lakh mark to 2,01,187. Now let's focus on vaccines, because that is how we're going to defeat this pandemic. And the registration for the next phase of the COVID vaccination drive for citizens above the age of 18 years is starting today, and eligible citizens will be able to book their slots online via the government's CoWIN portal or the Arogya Setu app. Now, until now, only people above 45 years of age, healthcare and frontline workers have been allowed to take the vaccine. However, from the 1st of May onwards, all adult citizens will be able to get vaccinated after the mandatory registration for the same, and walk-in vaccinations, however, will not be allowed for those below the ages of 45. So that's a very important point, because till now a lot of elderly people were being allowed to just walk in, get registered and get the vaccine. So today is when the vaccination registration opens for everyone between the ages of 18 to 45. Now, it's important. It's a very important phase we're going into, as vaccination is the only way, as I have said earlier, that we can defeat this pandemic. And we have the examples of other countries which have had successful vaccination drives. In Israel, the numbers have significantly come down. They've taken off their masks as well. And in the United States also, the vaccine drive has really picked up. Well, to talk more about vaccinating the younger population and also fighting vaccine hesitancy, we're joined now by Dr. Nishchay Mishra, virologist and molecular biologist from New York. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. If you could share with us, what learnings can we take from the United States as far as anticipating any, sort of hurdles concerned in the vaccination of the young?
This is very important question. As soon as we see around the world, the adult population, the old population, they already have been vaccinated or like they are through it. So now our next target is like younger people who goes out for the work, for the school, and they are also been in the lockdown, like 1.5 years around the world, and they cannot do their social activities, and they cannot do their sports activities, and they cannot go attend their classes also. So this has been happening, but the younger population always been a challenge when we were trying to have the COVID appropriate behavior, maintaining social distancing. We have seen, maybe you guys also have seen a couple of weeks ago, we had the big crowd in Miami and part of those beach counties, those mostly young populations. So those concerns are always there. But what's changing right now, as soon as America is vaccinating more and more people, we are seeing the restrictions are slowing down. That is encouraging the younger population. And then they also noticing a big in the new variants, they are affecting the younger people as badly. They're affecting the oldest people. So that is also encouraging the vaccination acceptance in the younger population. A couple of weeks ago, it was 34 to 35% younger population who was against the vaccine. And that percentage goes through the different economic background, different racial background, and even a different educational background. That number is declining, which is very, very good. In America, it's 22%. So it just goes on the print media or the TV media, how they deliver the message like vaccination is safe. Second thing, vaccination is going to help you to get back to normalcy. You will be able to enjoy the summer. You may be able to go out and see your friends and families. So those are all encouragement, and travel. These all things are there. The one thing should be very critical in or different when we compare America and India, the population and the preparation. So US started vaccinating people like openly for all the age group, state by state and the city by city, when they have enough vaccine available and when all the planning was done. What we don't want to see when the bigger crowds goes to the vaccination center and then they don't get it. So then it creates a new panic. And then maybe that will discourage also, like somebody goes to vaccination center twice, they don't get vaccinated, they might not go there again for third time, because That's all with all this restriction, mostly those epicenters, the bigger cities, Mumbai, Delhi, Ahmedabad, Kolkata, but they are crowded, and there should be enough preparation when the younger people or just decide already what is the target for the first week. Try to reach that target, even if it's small. That will encourage people.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Nishay Mishra, for speaking to us here at NDTV. Yes, so it's going to be a challenge, the next phase of vaccination, as we vaccinate the younger people between the ages of 18 to 45. To talk more about this, we're now joined by Dr. Jalil Parker, Senior Pulmonary Consultant, Lilavati Hospital, and Dr. Vishal Rao, Dean Center for Academic Research and member of the Expert Committee of the COVID Task Force, Karnataka. Thank you so much, doctors, for taking out your precious time and joining us on the show. It's going to be a big challenge as the next phase of the vaccination opens up. Dr. Vishal Rao, first to you. One of the concerns has been about states having enough vaccines, because right now we are seeing somewhat of a rush and shortages also being reported from different parts of the country. If you can tell us about the situation there.
See, I think what the committee had earlier discussed was also very importantly that the current set of vaccines which have been authorized under emergency usage are primarily focused on reducing disease and not infection, which means that you will continue to transmit the virus, and the most important protection that needs to be given is to the vulnerable group. For example, in Karnataka, we have about 10% of the population of the 6 crore who are above 60, who are the most important target group. Now, this is the group that we would need to prioritize and protect first. And then comes the second group, which is the comorbid above 45, which is another 15%. So if you look at a targeted approach, this is the priority age group that we want to look at to protect lives, prevent deaths. And that's the top priority that the government is having. And they've laid out a very, I would say, a meticulous plan on that. The two things that are coming in our way currently, I personally believe in, this is my personal opinion, is that one, we are at lockdown now, and that is going to slow down the chain, but also slow down vaccination. The second, I think, is going to be that henceforth the government is going to be only allowing vaccination in government centers and government hospitals, which is going to increase the burden on the government's existing infrastructure and manpower. And somewhere, I think the private sector will need to be involved to have a more participatory role to assist the governments in ensuring that we are able to scale up vaccination, because like you all rightly spoke earlier, vaccination seems to be the only mantra currently against the pandemic.
Right, absolutely. And so some concerns about the kind of challenges. Dr. Parker, do you still, fear about vaccine hesitancy? Because given what we've found ourselves in, this extent of the crisis, and with all the doctors and all you experts and all, even political leaders talking about how we need to get vaccinated to defeat this disease, do you still think we're seeing a vaccine hesitancy, and we're going to have a challenge going forward in the next phase as well?
Well, what has happened is that the challenge of getting everybody vaccinated, the fear was to a very great extent in the minds of everybody, be it senior citizens, the middle age, etc. But after the first wave of COVID, there was hesitancy by most of them to get vaccinated. However, with the advent of the second surge that took place, I think everybody has realized that it's time that everybody should be vaccinated, and people are thronging right now after this second surge, which was like a tsunami, coming to all the hospitals to get vaccinated. Now, unfortunately, it so happened that when the surge took place and people's awareness and the fear psychosis got them rushing to the hospital, there was a shortage of vaccines. And if it was in big institutes, I can imagine what it must be in the periphery, in the satellite townships, etc. Now that the vaccines, the government has taken the initiative to get everybody vaccinated, and especially the youngsters from the age of 18 and above from May 1st, I think it's a very excellent move. And I think everybody should get vaccinated, be it the elderly, be it the middle age, and be it 18 and above. We've lost some patients who have been young, and we have been seeing COVID in the young too now, where it has been affecting the younger age. So I think the younger generation does understand the challenges that are there, and I think they should all get vaccinated in due course of time, and it would be good because the severity won't be there. The load on the institutes would not be there,
right,
and many of them would be able to treat themselves at home.
Right, absolutely. And, you know, hopefully the logistics will also be sorted out. Like you said, there has been some amount of, vaccine shortages reported. Dr. Rao, just very briefly before we, open it up for questions from our viewers, and we have many of them. Also, we've found in the last couple of weeks and months through experience that people who even have one dose of the vaccine are not getting a very, very serious illness. Is that correct?
So there's some very interesting data that has come out recently, published in the Lancet journal by the Voici et al. Group, and they've given a very interesting perspective on the impact of single dose vaccination against the immune system. I mean, and in protecting the immune system. And I think that's a very interesting perspective where they showed that even single shot vaccination gave partial immunity to people. And I think that's a very welcome data for me, because this is what they're using currently is the prime boost regime, where the first dose is the priming regime, and at least in the current raging pandemic, if it is even giving us partial immunity, that's a very welcome step for us to get reassured.
No, absolutely. Well, let's open it up for the questions, and we have a caller, Prabjot. Go ahead with your question.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, I am G6PD deficient, as the government of India has announced that the vaccination drive will be open for my age group from 1st of May. So whether I should go for vaccination or wait for some time, sir?
Hey, Dr. Parker?
I think you should go in for vaccination. Why do you have to wait? For what?
He is deficient.
If you are given an opportunity where the vaccinations are available, I think you should go and have the vaccination rather than being hesitant
he's
about
deficient, G6PD deficient, so that's why he's asking whether it would be safe for him.
Oh, G6PD deficient. Okay. Now, it depends on his clinical status too. So I think if he is in touch with an hematologist, that would be better before he goes and takes it. I'm sorry I did not hear that G6PD.
Right. Dr. Rao, would you like to add anything?
I think what's important in these kind of cases is there are a lot of such patients who are calling us up to ask whether we should get vaccinated. And as a general rule, if you look at what the government of India has given as a clear-cut guidelines is that they've given, and I think maybe your channel should show out all the indications, contraindications that government of India has let up as an order, clearly stating that in general, all patients with comorbidity are priority in the vaccination. In general, when you're talking about, and I think that's what our co-speaker is also alluding to, that in general, all comorbidity patients should get the vaccination. In specific for conditions like this, you need to talk to your physician, discuss this with him, but yet after that, there are no specific obvious contraindications that they're given except for relative ones, other than some very specific conditions for which you need to talk to your physician. But otherwise, the government of India has laid a very, very detailed guidelines on contraindications and indications at this juncture, and the indications are overall for everybody.
All right, we have another caller from Bhopal, Sarita Tripathi. अपना प्रश्न पूछिए.
सर, मेरे चेस्ट में एक हफ्ते से दर्द है और भारीपन लग रहा है, और सर्दी जुकाम बुखार तो कुछ भी नहीं है, यही मुझे को घबराहट और कंपकपी लग रही है. मैं कहीं दिखाने नहीं जा सकती हूँ, तो इसका क्या करें?
और आप क्यों नहीं जा सकते कहीं?
सर, मेरे मिस्टर की ड्यूटी बाहर है, मैं अकेली हूँ मैम.
All right, so that's a challenge that women are facing. Sarita Tripathi, she's saying she's feeling a heaviness in her chest for a while. She said there, and Dr. Parker, what would you say in such a situation?
See, she has, I think, commented on two things, if I'm not mistaken. One was the heaviness in the chest, and I think the abdominal discomfort too. So I would recommend her that both the symptoms are a part of COVID. So she should go to the nearest center possible, get herself tested, and get her oxygen levels measured. That's number one. If she is having diarrhea, then I think again, she should see to it that she gets herself examined at a medical center, rule out COVID, because the treatment would differ if it is not COVID. So the best thing to do is to go and get herself clinically evaluated and treat accordingly.
And it just shows you the kind of challenges people are facing, in different parts of the country, because her husband is on duty. She's unable to even go out to, get any sort of medical help. We have another caller from Kolkata. Norman, go ahead.
Yes, doctor, my granddaughter is going to be 18 in August. When can she take the vaccine?
Dr. Rao? Right, Dr. Rao, did you hear the question? His granddaughter is going to be 18 in August, so he wants to know how soon she can take the vaccine.
So I think if you look at the criteria, Covaxin is currently available for a slightly younger age group, and I think they again would need to talk to the physician at the hospital that they're going to register to take the vaccine, to talk to her age group and then address that accordingly. I think Covaxin allows for a slightly younger age group. Maybe Parker sir can answer that more specifically.
All right, or he can wait till she turns 18 perhaps and go ahead with that vaccination. We have.
But the one thing I want to point out here is that younger people are more immune for this virus. We've written some papers on this earlier, also talking about why the importance of the thymus gland and how it plays an important role in immune activation, especially children, even neonates, immediately in their mother's womb, this thymus is active. So these people have special immunity in them to protect them. So you need not panic. Like the earlier caller, what happens today, there is an unfortunate scenario that every symptom we are correlating with COVID. But what needs to be understood is that there are non-communicable diseases also other than COVID which today are existing, whether it's a heart disease, lung disease and others. So please do not ignore them and only think about COVID day and night.
All right. We have one last caller, Gungun from Navi Mumbai. Go ahead.
I have a question. When somebody takes the first dose of vaccine and there is a gap of either 28 days or 45 days or whatever, what happens if the second dose is missed by for any reason? The first dose is still valid, or the person has to go for again the vaccination all over again?
All right, Dr. Rao.
So I think her question was that she's delayed, she's got the first dose, she's delayed the second dose. Now, studies that were published on Covishield showed that those people who delayed it by some period of time, which means 2 months to 3 months, the trials showed that it was supposed to be given at 1 month, but they took it at 2 months or 3 months. The people at 3 months had better efficacy than the people at 2 months. So in general, she need not panic. This is the right time she can go ahead and take it, provided that she is taking the vaccine of Covishield. If it's the Covaxin, yet she can take it, but the efficacy of it will slightly be lower. We don't have data. Again, what people need to know is at this juncture, the data is for emergency use, and at this juncture, utmost precaution needs to be taken to adhere to timelines. And in Covishield, the government of India has given some guidelines to give a gap to say that it can be taken 8 to 12 weeks later also, whereas in terms of Covaxin, please do not delay it.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much, Dr. Parker and Dr. Rao, for taking out your time and, answering those questions here on the show. Thank you so much.